Um, before I get started, I just want to say that, let me get it all adjusted here. It's not very. It doesn't, it doesn't, because that's not really, well, if I, well, now it's covered up. So, well, I'll just maybe right like here. Well, no, about here, right? I mean, I'll fix it later. Anyways, so I just wanted to say that, I don't know much. I don't know much about books. Hi. Before we get started, I want to apologize. I already printed up, hundreds of these. This will be on a T-shirt. The title of the movie is called the T-shirt Salesman. But if you can see, right? Anyways, here I'll move it down. It's filmed in Dildo Vision, and hi, I'm the spokesperson for a new product called that I developed and that I'm now workshopping. Imagine this is a T-shirt. I'm working on a T-shirt design. I'll probably just use this, and it's essentially what we've done is we've taken the concept of milk and we've made well, it's not really different per se. I mean, milk is milk. There's no difference. Um, so that's my idea, and I hope that you'll donate to my crowd fund. So I can get some money uh, for to make these T-shirts. Um, it's for, you might have a cat or several cats. You might be, a weird old lady, and one of the cats has all these. You've seen them. They'll roll over and want you to like, uh, you know, uh, scratch their whatevers, and right, yeah, we know what they want, and right, and so the some of them have these great big nipples, right, and like 12 of them, right, and some of the other cats they don't, right. So this is essentially it's like a sweater, or like a vest, you might say, for cats that don't have as many nipples as the ones that do, so they don't feel so left out necessarily. So hi, I'm the spokesperson for dog dicks. I'm sorry. Hi, I'm the spokesperson for Pig's Feet, and so you might have seen these characters, kind of sloshing around, if you've ever been to a farm or a petting zoo, and they're actually 3 times smarter than dogs, right? And so what I was wanting to do is, since dogs aren't as smart, I thought maybe they'd want to walk a mile in these guys' shoes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make molds of pig's feet and put little rubber treads. You can tie them up, lace them up, and you can put these on dogs, right? And so they don't feel so stupid, right? And if you could donate to the wherever the link is, and I'll get some T-shirts out to you guys as soon as I can. I'm the spokesperson for the tacos. Hi, I'm the spokesperson and founder of the hamster cages or prison camps movement. Now you might have some of these critters at your home, and you keep them in one of those little grated cages, and it seems like they're free to sort of run around. But what and some people say, well, they're natural predator, and unnatural predators around like cats and birds and whatnot, and they'll just get eaten, or you might step on them, right? Well, how would you feel if you were a hamster and locked in a hamster cage, right? I'm very active on social media, and no, I'm holding it for someone else. I didn't know what to do. I said, okay, nice guy, and so I just kind of I stood here, and he came up to me, kind of accosted me. I tried to turn on my phone to go on Facebook, and I kept telling him this isn't my banana. It's somebody else's. Based on a certain series of books, right? J.R.R. Tolkien.
I know J.R.R. Tolkien.
I haven't read the books, but I got these DVDs. I got them for my birthday one year.
Tolkien too long to tell these jokes. No. Hurry up and tell these jokes. I need quick jokes. I've got a schedule. I need to go. Hurry up. I need fast jokes.
Being that I only have those,
Come on, let's get
those to choose from. I only really watch movies with Bilbo in them, right? So I'm the spokesperson for Gary Gimple, the Pimple Man of South Jersey, and he was voted best dermatologist 2020. Even though it's 2019, right? Some people might say that's preposterous. We're not even in 2020 yet, right? Well, Gary Gimple, he's so well connected, right? So here I am, Gary Gimple from the, you might have seen the other video. But Gary, he's not only a dermatologist. He runs a what's called, his business is called Gary's Golf Buddies, right? And it's $50, right? So you pay Gary $50. So you pay Gary $50. So I'm here representing it's a very special lady. She won last year at the fair. She won. She's known as, people call her now because she won Darlene the Pumpkin Queen, and she runs a service now. It's called Darlene the Pumpkin Queen. It's pumpkin carving team, and you pay her $20, and it's kind of a seasonal thing. She actually works year round. People, it's kind of strange. People will have her come out almost every day, and they'll specialty carve a pumpkin. I'm here to represent. I can't remember her name. She came in. She said she needed to post it. She didn't have enough money to post it in the paper, but I didn't get her number. Anyways, so this lady, I might see her again. So don't message me about it. Maybe I'll post a video later. But she has cockers for $20, right? I was looking to kind of refurbish my, I was out in the market, and I was kind of looking around, and I figured, having experienced it personally myself, I think other people might be interested in this type of thing. So I want everyone to come down and get your serviced, right? Come down and get your serviced, and everything will be taken care of, no problems, right? I was just informed by the central authority that I was on the bus and I was going past the bank, and a representative, they said it was bank parking only. They said for me to tell everyone it was bank parking only, no money, no service, right? So no money, no service, right? It's bank parking only. Stay out, right? I'm the spokesperson for, um, well, I wasn't really told. Several suited men came in and kind of roughed me up a little bit, and they said, "We want you to go around and we want you to spread the word, spread the message." And they said, that here's what you have to say. They said, "Thanking you happy, make us happy, welcome you, right?" And I saw this new business pop up, and I was on the bus, so I got off and I asked them, "Hey, do you need any help promoting, your hiring event? I saw you had a sign out front. You're trying to get new people to work there, and you won't see any of the profit, but I will make some money on it." And right, but I did, I am an artist, so if you can see, I made some like this swirly sort of. It's like this is like a swirly. It's like swirly. The Indians ate corn, and you know, so I was recently watching this sort of film version of a Shakespearean play, on Macbeth, and this lady, a nice lady, I want to say, she was sitting about 2 rows back from me, and as the tension was building, towards the sort of like, that scene, and she was going, "Macbeth, don't do it," right? Hold on, lights cut out. "Macbeth, don't do it," right? And I went, "Shh," right? And she said, "You shh," right? And I said, "I'm gonna call the manager on you." Now, some comedians, they and I'm not a comedian. I wouldn't presume to try to make you laugh or do any of that, really. Um, I'm just a real guy. I'm just trying to, make an honest buck. But Tiny Tim has a limp, and he's, just based on his sign, he says, I'm not gonna give you a whole guilt trip about it. I'm just gonna sell you these tacos." So it's I don't know about you guys, but I'm really big into these super guy movies, and I would like eventually I would like every single movie to be essentially it's like a you go in, right, you pay to see it. I'm here promoting a thing for another one of my long-term acquaintances, sort of business associates. His name's Teb Abernathy. He's a retired accountant. He lives in where does he live? He lives in Arizona, and he said he's retired. I think he lives in Phoenix, right? And he doesn't have much to do all day, so what he does now for a living, for a little extra money, he sits on top of his roof, and he counts air conditioning units on all the other roofs that he can see. All right, so I'm here promoting another this is Gary Gimple. He's the only remaining dermatologist in the South Jersey area, that's really allowed to practice, or else, right? Gary's got some very some powerful friends, right? And I can't stand it. So everyone likes a good fish story, right? You know, there's a class that's at the local seminary over here, the Baptist Church. It's running. I hold it every week. Every day, really. It's a chocoholic anecdotes, for adventures for moms. I was riding the bus downtown the other day, and I saw this sign. It looked like a pretty good deal. It's and he said, did you want one? Right? And I went, well, I don't know. What is it? I got a little bit of ways down away from Bill's Big Ones. And I saw this other sign. I was like, I was starting to get hungry, right? Because I just had a pretty good workout, and and so I went in there and I just stuffed my face full of Grandma's wieners, and had a Grandma's wieners, and I saw this sign. It was glowing bright and hairy in the midday light. It said Harry's bat hole, $20. So I crawled in there, and Harry, he was there, and he said, "Why don't you come inside?" And so I did. I don't want to get into specifics, but I pulled out of there, and it was starting to get cold. This was around Christmas time. I was riding the bus again, and I saw this sign just off the road. There's a guy. He had one of those like like a teepee over him. It had the sign in the front and the sign in the back. He was waving at all the cars, and it said, "Ebenezer's Payday Loans, no ghosts." Right? And I thought, this is this city is a very diverse city, and I don't think it's
Something strange in the neighborhood. I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Some sort of epithet, but I'm pretty sure it was going through a divorce, breakup, need pictures, $20, right? It didn't seem like much. Yeah, I'm not going through any of these things, but I went in there and I saw Jack, and he had big circles under his eyes, and I shook his hand, and it was all greasy. It was like gooey almost, and he's wearing one of those white beaters, and he had this old sort of like film camera on the desk, with one of those like flash bulb things. It didn't seem very discreet, but you go to the hold on, let me put this down. You go to the coffee shop, and someone there is there reading. They're reading Darwin's Voyage of the Beagle, right? And you walk up, and you have this T-shirt on. They look, and they go, I can't remember where I was on the page, right? So I went a little bit further down the road, and I was kind of shaken up about that one. He took a photograph of me before I left, and then he got on the bus, and Jack, I assume that's what his name. He had a name tag on, and he was very sweaty, and he was wiping these crumbs off on the bus, and he sat right across from me, and he was staring right at me, right? And he'd take a picture, right? And the bulb would flash, right? And he has to change. He has a bag full of these bulbs. He has to take it out. People have cell phones now. Like, why doesn't he just use a cell phone? And he's got, he said he's old fashioned. Anyways, so that's beside the point. So I was looking for just an excuse to get off, ditch this guy, and so I jerked this way and that way, and then I jumped off the bus, and he kept going down the road. He's trying to take a picture, but I went like this, and so I saw this ad, this sign said Mexican travel service, right? $20, right? And I went, I'm trying to get away from this Jack fellow, and Mexico would definitely be a great place to go, I imagine. And I went in there, and there was this tiny little man, and he said, "So where do you want to go?" Right? And well, I want to go south, right? And he says, "Okay," right? And
So I'm sorry, I have to cut in here as the director and say that I know it is alarming how many of these shopkeepers are cocksuckers. So
I went a little further down the road. He said, "Hey, come back!" Right? He jumped out the right. Um, I was putting my pants back on and I was running down the road. I cut the bus just before it left, and good thing because the Jack had just gotten off and he went shit, right? And he tried to take another picture of me, but I'm too squirrely. And so I went 3 or 4 miles down the road again, and I saw this sign for a dog petting zoo, $20, right? That's a pretty good deal, right? I didn't know what for, so I went in and there was this kind of solemn man and he wouldn't tell me what it was about. He was in leather, right? He had this part of it was cut out. He turned around to get a piece of paper, that I needed to sign this waiver. And he didn't have any. There wasn't any. On each butt thing, there wasn't any. And I saw this sign down the road. It said, "Italian healthcare, first month free." I went, "Wow!" Right? So I was interested. How much is it after that, right? And so I went in there and I saw Paul Giasanto, and I spoke with Paul, and he said, first month's free, right? After that, we'll be in touch, right? We'll get back to you, right? So I was getting kind of thirsty, right, at this point, right? I've been through a lot. I was waiting for the bus to come. It seems like as soon as it would, like almost, you could see it on the distance. Once it saw like this kind of part of town, it's supposed to come through there. It just took a left and kept, got the fuck out of there. So I was getting thirsty, and there's a kind of a mob of all the people I just kind of run into, kind of like they seem to kind of be following me around, right? Like I'd walk down a little way, and then, I'd see this kind of group of people duck behind a bush, and so I was getting nervous. So I needed someplace to go inside, maybe to hide from these people. So I saw this sign it said, "Microbrewery, no people only," right? $20. That's it, right? That's what the guy said at the door, right? And I said, so I just give you 20, I can go inside? I said, "No, right? It's too big." I said, well, can you, I tried to talk like, "Can you make an exception?" And he says, "Are you making fun of me?" Right? And I said, no, I'm just trying to fit in." And he said, "Fuck you, get out of here," right? And I gotta get ducking somewhere, and the guy said, "Oh, get the fuck out of here! You can't stand there, right? Leave. You gotta go, right?" And so I got run off by this little guy, and I'm running down the road, and there's this crowd of people following me, and they, I kind of ducked around and hid behind some, this weird like impediment thing, and the people, this group of people, they all asked, "Where did he go? Where did he go?" Right? And the little guy, "Well, he went that way, right? We tried to get in here, right?" They go, "Well, yeah, we're looking for him, right?" They're trying to get me, right? And right, because this is a bit, right? It's like a comedy bit, I'm getting chased by these people. Anyways, so I saw this sign that said "Macro Brewery, fatties only, $20," right? $20. Seems like it's a good deal, right? So I got to the door, and the guy goes, "Ugh." He didn't really say anything. He's a big fat guy, and I went, "So can I get inside? I had a 20, right?" And he said, "No," right? So, and I said, why not, right? And he said it didn't meet their qualifications. They had a sign that had the outline of a man, and he made me stand in it, right? And I wasn't fat enough, so so I ran away from there. The mob is now following me. That little guy is now with them too. But I looked around frantically, as part of this bit to see if there's a some place I could hide inside to get away from them. And the fat guy that I was he's now getting up and joining the group. I don't know why, really. I don't know what I did, but so I see this sign. It says, it's a help wanted. It says medium-sized rappers wanted, no lil people or fatties, right? So I said, this is great. I'm like right in the middle. I just came, somebody measured me. I fit these qualifications. I get to the door, and he goes, hey, spit mad flows for me, right? So I went, rap something, right? And I went, so, I didn't, I didn't want him to see. I was, I had a copy of the book I was reading earlier at the coffee shop, and so I said, with the change in the geological structure of the plains, the character of the landscape likewise altered. While rambling up some of the narrow and rocky defiles, I could. And he said, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Right? And I said I was cheating. Right? I'm sorry. Just let me inside for a minute. So these people run by, they don't see me. I duck in here, and he says, "Nope, I can't do it." Right? So if you want this T-shirt, I was really desperate now because the mob of angry people were, gaining traction. It's like a cloud of dust, and they're all kind of running towards me, as part of this bit. And so I looked around. I saw, up the crest of this hill, almost like shrouded in, unearthly sunlight, said Heaven's Gate, Health Spa, no outside food or drinks, right? I wasn't too sure
$20,
about it,
right?
and I got
Great.
inside.
Awesome. Right?
And,
I got a 20.
So, and they had all started.
I ran up the hill.
Already, drinking. And
I got to the
they were
gates,
doing kind of a mass chant thing. And they were all
said,
bald.
$20.
And I sat down. And
they're almost.
This guy tried to start shaving my head, right? And you're just in time. And he had this kind of dead-eyed look. That's why I'm wearing this cap. There's a big, and he was wearing these robes like through the middle of it. And so I. It was taking a while to get, because I have a lot of hair. But I started to notice, these people that were chanting, they all started to kind of drop out, and they were like wriggling around on the floor and foaming at the mouth. And so I was like, this doesn't seem right. I should probably get out of here. But, it's a pretty good deal. If you ever head by that spa, they have like steam baths. Just come there on a day where there's not like a mass suicide. So I got out of there, and I saw this this kind of convent across the street, and I went inside. I was greeted by the father. Right, there's all these nuns going, because I'm a man, right, and so there was a sign before I went in that said, "Cry when you masturbate, $20," right? I mean, that seems like a good deal. And father told me all about it. He sat me down. He put his hand on my leg, and he's looking kind of deeply and longingly into my eyes. And so I saw this little stand off the way on the road there, and it said, there's a sign. stuck in this basket. It said nuts will keep forever, $20, right? $20. Seems like a good deal. So I went and talked to the guy. He's kind of, I kicked his foot and he's, right? And I said, I want to buy some of these nuts, right? And he said, they're not for sale, right? I'm keeping them forever. So I forgot. And then he said, excuse me, I'm polishing a lemon with underwear. This is underwear that's, it's long since fit me properly. So, I use it to polish fruit and other things. Anyways, so, that's beside the point, really. Anyways, so the nuts guy, right? He said, after I said, I want to buy some of these nuts. And he said, hold on. He said, that'll be $20. And I said, for what? Right? Well, I'm going to keep these nuts forever, right? I think that's kind of like I'm providing a service. And I sit out here every day very diligently. I come out here at 8 o'clock in the morning. I set up my stand. I put out my sign. And so I walked a bit down the way there past the the seminary and the hardware store and all that. And I saw this sign, like glowing neon in the dark of night. I was like, why is this still open, right? And I couldn't figure out what it was for. It said Jamie's cheese crust and creams, $20, right? And I got in there, and there's only one lady, and she's sitting in this kind of, it looks like a something. Have you ever been to a gynecologist's office? She's sitting in this chair, kind of bow-legged, spread, and she has a cash register next to her, and for somewhere to drink something, right? A bar or whatever. And I looked across the street and I saw Jim's nipples, right? $20, right? I said, that's a pretty good deal. So I walked across the street and I walked inside, and I suck. I pulled the sign down on the front. It says, what do you mean, right? Is this some kind of shady hotel? And he goes, no, right? You give me $20, I'll get you a room, and I'll give you both of these, and you have to bring them back, and you check them in with me, and give me the key back, and give me $20. You bring these back. Right, just make sure to bring them back. Make sure, make sure that they're still in the same condition that I gave them to you in, and everything's cool. And I asked God, I was walking on this beach, it's a metaphor, and I asked God, I've been walking for a while, and I said, why are there only footprints in the sand, right? And he said, because a while back, I broke off. You were talking. You just kept talking, and I don't want to say you were. Well, yeah, you were. It was really boring. You were going on and on about all this stuff, right? And so I broke off. Kind of scampered off and ran up ahead and grabbed a hot dog. There's a hot dog stand right next to the put-in, the pier up there. And I grabbed a hot dog, and I was eating this hot dog, and I saw this kind of this younger gentleman, looked like he's homeless, and he went, and he was calling me, and he wanted me to go under the bridge with him. So I ducked under there for a while, and and then I came back out. I had left my hot dog on this rock, and when I got back,
only the bun was there. This seagull had eaten the meat out of it. So I went back to the hot dog vendor, and I had this bun, right, and I was like, I just went, right? And he's like, what, right? He's like, right. You sold me a hot dog with no meat in it, right? So I tried to like get like a replacement dog to put in the bun, right? But he wouldn't, so he wouldn't do it, right? So I just bought another one, and yeah. So that and then I ate that. I was walking back. You can see those. Well, I mean, there's footprints now, right? You can see I walked back kind of this way, zigzag, and anyways, so I saw across the street, oh, I heard a wolf howl, right, in this kind of fog drifting over, and this steel sort of grated gate, you know, very ominous. This long pathway up to this, sort of, the lights were flickering, on the sanitarium on the hill, and I saw, the sign read kind of, hold on, the lights malfunctioning. Gary Gimple's, it read, Gary Gimple's Sanitarium for the Criminally Insane. $20 all day pass, free fresh bananas. Come on in, right? So I thought, hey, that's a pretty good deal. So I pushed open the gate, and I walked all the way up there, right? And I finally met Gary. I finally met Gary Gimple, and he said, "Hey, how you doing? $20, right? I'll let you. You can, right?"
He said, "I'll let
No, I
you
don't know.
fuck the crazy people
Me.
as much as you
And
want
I don't
to."
know what he's trying
Okay,
to tell me.
$20.
And so I said, I'm just gonna go. Can I have the bananas? So he said, here, right? I took the bananas and I left, right? It was very. And I heard a, "Oh," right? And it turns out it was just Gary, right? I look back, and then he popped inside, right? He's making these noises. So I took my bananas, and I got back out, walked out, and looked back, the fog. I saw the fog machines now, and I saw that it was just like a trick of the lights. So I took my bananas, and I was walking, and I had already eaten my bananas by now. So I was looking for a place to go, because you know how they do. They kind of run through you. They get it. They get the clock works as they say. The gears start grinding and all that really. And so I saw this place that said Mel's Bells, right? Had all these cuckoo clocks and grandfather clocks in the windows, and I thought that's great, right? That's a great aesthetic. I wonder what it said, $20, right? So I walked in, and Mel's, he's sitting in a chair, kind of snoring. And he like sensed I had walked in. He woke up and said, "Oh, hello," right? Just wait a second, wait for it, right? So I walked a little bit closer. Yeah, what do you think of them bells, right? How's that? I mean, that's pretty nice, right? It's very realistic, right? And he said, they're real bells. They're real. They're real bells. I don't know why I have them. I rigged them to go off. Um, but they're real bells, and it's no problem really. It's almost done. Alright, are you paying in cash or card? And I go, what do you mean? Well, you heard the bells, and you read the sign outside, right? And I go, well, I didn't know I had engaged in commerce, like we had made some sort of contract yet. He goes, you read the sign, you came inside. That's it's been passed down from generation to generation, and I've kept it in my pocket since I was a wee little girl. And today I'm knighting this man. So, Banana Man, you may stand. Now sit down on this banana. Really? Yes, you have to. It's part of the ceremony.
It's not mine. I'm just holding it for someone, right? He said that's fine, right? Why are you getting so upset? And I told him, he didn't tell me when he's coming back. He just left me here standing with this, and I don't know what to do.
So I came to, pulled in through the white light, as it were, and I saw this blink, 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 sort of flashing up ahead, neon into the distance down the road. A murmur down that way. Sounded like pachinko, right? And I heard this song.
Place your item in the bagging area. Your total is 707. Insert coins into your account.
Let's start the show.
Playing. The doorman took me inside. The sign read, XXX live girls with dead eyes. For you. $20 per dance. So I went inside there and, I had my 20 and I sat down and, this girl came walking up to me. This is the last idea. I didn't, if I had my druthers, I wouldn't be making a a film about joke T-shirts, really. But you know, so I didn't want to do this, but no one buys art anymore. So I'm trying to and not to cry at the same time. So it'll come out in 2020, hopefully. You know, this will be on a T-shirt too. You can buy it if you want. Wear it around.